TempahZone.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are listening to this podcast right here. This is episode 78 of the TempahZone podcast with your host, me, Amir Max, and that's all facts. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I feel like this is the toughest episode I've ever had to do because I'm gonna be addressing politics on this one. And not only am I going to be addressing politics on this episode, I'm also going to be talking about a rapper who has been blackballed. And everything's still up in the air with that one too, but let's just get at everything one at a time, all right? I have never been so nervous to go into an episode before. Disclaimer, this is not a politics podcast. This is a music podcast, but I feel that what is going on in this country is so important and so vital that I feel like I have to talk about it. And here we go. I am going to talk about the debates that I hope that all Americans watched yesterday. Well, not yesterday. It was on Tuesday? Yeah, it was on Tuesday. Yeah. And it was a shit show. And they had announcers even saying it on like CNN and one of the announcers on Fox News was saying it was a mess. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to all this stuff, man. I mean, when I was watching this debate, man, I was laughing like a lot because of the ridiculousness of it. From Trump just interrupting like a baby to Biden trying to deal with the interruptions, to just the whole awkwardness of it all, man. I mean, it was just not professional, not presidential, just a bloodbath from both parties. I just, both lost in my eyes, man. And I think that the one thing that really I took away from the debate was when Trump was asked to denounce white supremacy, and he didn't say, I denounce white supremacy, I denounce racism. He didn't say that. He's like, oh, sure, Proud Boys, stand back, stand by, some shit like that. Like, fam, like, why didn't you just say, I condemn white supremacy? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on here? Because let's be real here, man. There have been clips of Trump saying, he's against racism and hate speech or that. There is that one clip of him back in like 2017. I forget. I think it was the events going on in Virginia. And I think after that, he had that speech. Trump supporters, the real Trump supporters, they are going to take that clip and show people Trump is not for white supremacy. Look, he's already said it, and he said, sure, he will. But then why didn't he, when he was told to say it, when Biden was like, say you're against white supremacy, say you're against white supremacy from the moderator. He didn't just say it like that. He avoided it, and his hard response to that was, Proud Boys, stand back, stand by, something of that nature. I mean, fam, if you against white supremacy, at that very moment, say you are against white supremacy. Because on top of that, man, this dude says he's against a whole bunch of stuff. He don't leave nothing out. Trump's a very calculated dude. And so when this is happening, it's like, man, like, you just only doing this because you know who's voting for you, man. You know who's voting for you. It's the racists that are going to be voting for you. Like, so you don't want to alienate them. You don't want to take them out of your voting polls. You want them to vote for you because they'll stick around. And to the people, I got to address this. There are still going to be people that vote for Trump no matter what happens from here to November 3rd. No matter what, people are still going to vote for Trump, just like how no matter what, people are still going to vote for Biden no matter what happens. If you're going to ask me who I say who won the debate, I mean, the whole thing was a mess. But I'd only say Biden won the debate because Trump just took it too far with his tactics of trying to get under the skin of Biden. I would just have to say that. But when it comes to Trump, this man can say whatever he wants at this point. because the hardcore Republicans are going to vote who they are going to vote for. Hardcore Democrats are going to vote who they're going to vote for. And then there's still those people out there who don't believe in voting, so they're not going to show up because they don't like Biden, they don't like Trump, and therefore they're like, well, my vote doesn't matter. Real quick, voting does matter because it's not just about those two. It's about a whole bunch of other stuff and questions regarding data privacy and all that. So go vote. Go vote. There's more to voting than just who's going to be for president. There's way more to that, all right? I could spend this whole podcast on why you should vote. We are not doing that. All I'm going to say is that, all right? There's more to voting than just who's going to end up in the office, all right? Let's make that very clear for the people that don't understand that. Politics, these type of things, man, the debate, when I'm looking at all this, man, I'm just thinking to myself, who is undecided? You know what I mean? Like, because, everyone has different morals, man. And I think that's one of those things I just have to realize, I might have friends who voted for Trump or may vote for Trump this coming election. I will never know, may never know. Or am I going to just stop being friends with them? I mean, I can't say I would. I mean, because maybe everything else about them is right, but they are looking at things in this one-dimensional aspect. And their morals are just different. Like, some people don't care what Trump has to say. At the end of the day, if Trump's president, that economy is going to be running. So I don't care. I'm voting for Trump. Look, I don't care what the hell Biden did in 94 with that crime bill. I don't care if he can't form a sentence. That man's going to be for abortion. That man's going to make sure that the fires in the West, or wildfires in the West slow down. So you have to understand that when people are choosing a side with these things, they are really looking at it in one way only. I don't care about anything else. And these rules apply to Trump, regardless of the fact that he couldn't just say, I denounce white supremacy. Him not doing that and people still voting for this guy lets me know that your mind doesn't care about race issues. It doesn't. And you think you're going to get away with whatever stems from this guy being in office. Yeah, he might have said this, but that's not going to happen. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's not going to go that far. Nothing bad's going to happen. The economy is going to be fine. Like, people try to justify all these things, man. When it comes to who they're going to choose, who they're going to vote for, they try to find all ways to justify it, man. And then people are like, oh, well, if you don't like Biden, you don't like Trump, why don't you just vote for the third party, vote Libertarian? But then there are those people saying, oh, if you do that, then that's basically just a vote for Trump. It's like, what the hell do we do, man? You know what I mean? That's how I feel sometimes, when it comes to just these past two elections. I mean, shoot. It's felt like the lesser of two evils, you know what I mean? And then these two elections just so happen to be the only elections that I've actually had the opportunity to participate in. So it feels crazy because, we are, people my age, the age of 24, we are really stepping into this world of politics that is changing because of Trump, because of his tactics. Because when you see a guy like Joe Biden speaking, he's looking into the camera and he's talking like a commercial and he's letting the American people know. And meanwhile, you just got Trump just looking at him like, oh, you're stupid, your son this, blah. Like, Trump don't give a damn, bro. Like, Trump don't care. And people like that. People like that, I don't care, you're not professional. And unfortunately, there are going to be a slight bunch of people out there who are going to vote for Trump for that same reason. He's funny. Look how he does this. And they're just completely ignoring the fact that this dude said classes teaching people on race relations is considered racist. Like, this guy, that guy who said that, the guy who said I brought back football. You know what I mean? Like that's the guy, they're trying to justify. You know what I mean? And And look, Biden ain't nothing perfect either, man. Because when Trump brought up that crime bill, man, he stuttered. He did not know what to do because he hasn't apologized for that yet. So, fam, when that gets brought up, you gonna be put in the corner. What you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? And Trump, I mean, and Biden too. I mean, like, I don't know if it's just me, but there was a couple times when he was stumbling, where the sentences weren't 100% coherent and sensible. I'm just gonna be honest. You know what I mean? Look. And I'm going to tell y'all this, man. I am as middle as possible when talking about this stuff right here. I'm trying to give it to you the way I see it because there's just too many outlets out here who are just, taking a side and staying on our side, I'm pretty sure one of the fact checkers was extremely hard on Trump and not so hard on Biden. It's like, clearly you have an agenda. Clearly you're liberal. You know what I mean? And I think that's also part of the reason that I really wanted to address this is because I feel like these outlets are going to talk about these things and not justify everything that's going on. I wanted to address the Proud Boys that Trump mentioned. Now, I don't know how true this is, but this Proud Boys group is not just white people. And the guy that runs it, I saw, I think, was some, like Cuban guy, Afro-Latino guy. I mean, I might have been looking at the wrong source or something, because this is not from any source I've ever heard of, man. But, I don't know anything about this shit. But at the end of the day, man, Trump still denounced he refused to denounce white supremacy in any form or fashion during that speech. And in my book, in my morals, if you do that, I can't rock with you. Like that right there, I don't know what to say, man. That's just tough for me to get behind. And look, politicians are just people who are going to lie and do sketchy, scheming stuff. So, I mean, like South Park says, man, you're voting between a douche and a turd. You know what I mean? And I'm the type of person that I judge your character. I judge who you are. So, to all the people out there that I see following who, promote Trump, I can't say I hate you. And I don't want to hate you. But there is a point where we have to agree to disagree, but we have to come to some understanding. Because is a vote for Biden a vote for white supremacy? I mean, is a vote for Trump vote for white supremacy? Is that what that means? Voting for Trump mean you voting for white supremacy? Because let's be real here, it's not just white people voting for Trump. There's going to be black people voting for Trump. There's going to be Spanish people voting for Trump. Latino people voting for Trump. Indian people, Asian people, Arab people. Like, this is not just white people voting for Trump. So that's the thing I just have to acknowledge to y'all. When it comes to politics, people have different morals. So people are going to vote for themselves and themselves only. And even black people that vote for Trump, they are going to find a way to justify it through all the bullshit that he said. Because let's be real. Are we surprised that Trump said what he said, man? Like, just ignoring that? He's like, duh. And now the dude coming out here saying he got coronavirus and the first lady as well. I smell cat. I'm just being honest with you. I'm sorry. This is just perfect timing. You know what I mean? It's October 2nd. We're basically a month away from the election. It just smells like some way to evade it. I don't know what advantages he gets by doing this, but part of me feels like it's just a little bit of cat, man. I don't want to spend too much time on this. But one thing I just gotta tell y'all, man, y'all definitely go to the polls and vote. All right? It's not just about who's going to be in office. It's also a lot of important things there with the questions that they ask. Those are very important to vote for. So make sure you go out there and do that. See if you can do early voting if possible. Definitely make that happen. But, this is why politics is hard to talk about. You don't bring up politics because it's so divisive. But when with all this stuff going on, man, one thing I just got to say, man, can we all just get along? In the words of Rodney King. Because I know this country's divided and all, man, but shit's just looking really bad right now. And I feel like no matter who ends up in office, shit's gonna just be a mess. Something's gonna happen. And that's a unsettling feeling. And I feel like a lot of voters my age aren't too locked in on Biden. You know, they're settling on Biden. A lot of people aren't locked in on Trump. I feel like they're settling for Trump because, shit, I'm not voting Democrat, and Democrats looking at, Biden, but they're looking at Trump and like, I'm never voting. I'm never voting the other side. Like, Democrats gonna stay Democrats and Republicans gonna stay Republicans. So for me, I can't judge somebody so much when they say they're voting for Trump, but I do gotta say you're a little bit ignorant in some form or fashion, or I gotta say that your brain is just in a different place and you're not thinking about black lives. You're not thinking about you're not thinking about non-white lives, man. Like, because you don't think it's gonna affect you or it has no part of your life. Because when Trump refused to denounce white supremacy, man, it just had me thinking, like, what the hell, man? Like, that's just not cool. Like, that's just not cool. Nah. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way y'all can work that around. Sorry. And that's the big take I got away from that whole thing, is that he really just did that? Oh wow. So anyone that's still voting for Trump, I'm paying attention to that. And I'm gonna forever look at you differently. But I'm not gonna be no disrespect or nothing. It's just I'm looking at you differently. And that's that. I gotta puff my chest out and take a stand on it somehow. I try to avoid it, but I'm gonna puff my chest out on it. If you voting for Trump, we gotta talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta tell me how you feel, and I feel like I've kind of had addressed that on here. But yeah, man, that's I guess that's all I have to say on that debate. Obviously, it was a shit show. People, y'all gonna vote who y'all gonna vote for, and I don't think me telling you what I just said is gonna change your mind on anything. But yeah, that's all I gotta say on that, man, because I really feel like I could talk about this all time, man. So let's just move on to Tory Lanez, man, being blackballed. Oh, man. Here's another thing that people are taking strong sides on. Now, we still don't know everything about this story, but the way that Meg Thee Stallion told this story, it sounded pretty on point. It sounded pretty concrete. And when I go back and, see what she was saying, she said it with such conviction, and I believe Megan, man. I believe her more so than Tory, because Tory said everything on his latest album, other than the fact that I did not shoot Megan Thee Stallion. Like, he really went on some lawyer shit on this one, man, and part of me just doesn't understand, where this dude's coming from, because it's like, dude, you had all that stuff going on with Breonna Taylor, and now here you are dropping an album where it's just extremely toxic, first of all. I mean, he's just, embracing the bad guy role right now, and people love it. People are eating it up, man. Regardless of what you've seen or what you have heard, there are people out there that are still rocking to Tory Lanez, who are saying this album's fire. And look, I heard a couple of songs off the album. It sounds good. But what this dude's rapping about, it's like you're just playing verses against the world. You're literally fighting the world right now. Like, this whole album is basically that. And I have a hard time listening to that. We don't have all the details on this too. And given all the details that we do have on it, I can't get behind Tory Lanez right now. I just can't. I gotta hear more shit. And for the time being, man, it's just a little awkward to listen to Tory Lanez. It feels wrong. I don't feel right when I'm listening to him. And I'm telling you, I'm someone that messed with Tory Lanez, and you can't deny the talent. Obviously, he's a talented artist, and he's capable of doing a lot of shit, but for the time being, man, I'm going to have to put your shit on timeout. And I feel like him getting blackballed is part of that reason. Now, do I think artists should be blackballed from the editorial playlist and algorithm playlist? These big platforms and on the big first page. Do I think he should get blackballed from that? Not necessarily. No, because he wasn't convicted of anything. There's no concrete proof that Tory Lanez did what he said he did. And that's where I am, taking the stand on it. You had guys like, XXXTentacion and R. Kelly, back in like 2017 where their music got pushed back from like editorial playlists. It's tricky, man, because it's like, if you're going to take down, their music because of what they've done in real life, well, there's probably a lot of other artists that we have to do this for. You're opening up the can of worms is what I'm trying to say when you do those things. So blackballing an artist like that, I'm not really all for that. Because at the end of the day, people are going to listen to what they're going to listen to. And I understand that these platforms, them doing this blackballing, it does suppress the artist getting out there. But at the end of the day, like, an artist like Tory Lanez is going to get his sales and gonna make it work. He's going to have that core fan base that's there. Men and women, because women are still rocking with Tory Lanez. And I think his career in due time, once the story comes out more, I think he'll be fine. And I thought at first he wouldn't be. Because right now, I just can't get behind Tory Lanez. I just can't. But let's be real here, y'all. There's nothing concrete yet. So to say that there's going to be a nail in the coffin of Tory Lanez's career is a very bold thing to say, given what we've seen in the past, with what other artists have dealt with and gotten away with and are still prevailing in this music industry and are still doing what they're doing and making money. So it's tricky to say, man. I'm not listening to Tory Lanez, man. I can't get behind it. I just can't. Just the fact that this dude allegedly shot at a woman is enough for me to not listen. Straight up. Like, especially when you're trying to, sing about it on the whole album. It's like, fam, like, you talking about, like, how, like, the bullet hit your foot and broke no bones and nothing. It's like, fam, people get shot in the head and don't die. So, like, the possibility, anything's possible. I don't know. I mean, that's what I thought when I heard that. And it's like, fam, like, the gun, like, I know you didn't get charged for nothing, but the gun that you shot was traced back to the gun that they was trying to trace back went back to you. The bullet that they traced back went back to the gun that you owned. You sent a text to Megan Thee Stallion the next day saying, "I'm sorry, I was drunk, I was on some bullshit." Like, everything is pointing to that something that you did wrong in some form of fashion, because you did not fully address it or address it in a way that's concrete enough. Not for me, man. Not for me. So, in my opinion, I think Tory Lanez will find a way to prevail out of this somehow, but his career will never be the same. He is going to be the bad guy. This will forever change the image of his career, and it's going to take extreme concrete evidence to show people that there was a different side to this than we all believe. And that's just simple as that, because this narrative is too goddamn strong. It's too strong, regardless of the validity of it. It's just too strong, so people are going to roll with this, especially with the way that Megan told it. And, I mean, that's just it, man. Tory Lanez is officially a villain in the rap game. And I never saw that coming, given the beginning of this year. He had a Quarantine Radio, which felt like was 3 years ago, which was only like 4 months ago, Quarantine Radio. Actually, it was like 6 months ago, but still, like, I mean, it's crazy how things can change, man, how shit can just flip like that. I mean, Tory Lanez is a prime example that shit can just change out of nowhere, man. Life can just, out of nowhere. Nothing was the same for that dude, man. And it's sad because all that talent is just going to go to basically waste because, he was here, man. And now, he's spewing all this stuff saying that they're just trying to take him down because he owns his masters and all this shit. I'm like, cap. I smell cap. No, dude, no. I don't believe you. I'm sorry, Tory. I just don't. So that's all I got to say on that, man. Tory Lanez, for the time now, you are a sucker. Sorry. That just is what it is, man. Until we hear more stuff about this, that's just how I'm going to leave it, man. I'm sorry. Your whole album, you dissing everybody and getting at everybody And meanwhile, you evading the topic. You dancing around the situation at hand, man. I don't care. You don't fool me with some catchy beats and catchy flows. I'm sorry, Tory. It don't work. You're not getting your streams from me, man. No, I'm sorry. Just don't go like that. I just can't. Sorry. Let's talk about one more thing before we get out of here, man. Let's talk about Lil Baby. He says he's done rapping about politics. He says, the more I'm seeing what's up with all that shit, the more I'm like, let me back off of politics. I don't want to be no Malcolm X or no Martin Luther King. I stuck my nose in it. I'm good on that. Lil Baby, I feel you, man. I feel you on that wholeheartedly, because to make it just a little more personable, ever since I have spoken up about these things, I had noticed that people had unfollowed me that I never thought would. I'm starting to see dialogues opened up that I've never seen before. People look at you a different way when you stick your chest out. Because not a lot of people stick their chest out. Not a lot of black people are out here fighting the good fight. Some black people out here are afraid to address these topics, man. I mean, it's tough because when you address these things, it can be very hard for white people to listen to it because you're talking about such deep topics regarding race, and a lot of white people are sensitive to these things. A lot of white people aren't ready for you to deliver some of these messages. And I think that's one of the reasons Lil Baby was just like, yo, man, like, I just gotta stay away from this. Like, this is a lot to take on, and it's a big responsibility because there's just so much that goes into it, and there's so much that you gotta know and understand. And there's when you're doing these things, you gotta be so focused on what you're saying. You got to be so focused on everything. Every word is extremely, it counts. And when you speak up like this, I mean, you're opening up almost a threat to people who are the opposite of that. Those people who are really racist, who hate seeing a black man speak up for what's right. So you're opening that door up too. And people, when they see a black man speak up about politics, they just want to stay away from it. Oh, too deep. This is too deep. It's too a concept. Oh, nah. I want some fun music. People just want fun music, man. There's a lot of people out there who do not want their music to be talking about these tough issues, man. Because when they go to the music, they want it to be an escape from that, not to be a response to what's going on in the world. I know some people want music to be the opposite of what's going on. And so I think a lot of artists just want to stay away from politics. It's not even just black artists, just artists in general. Because when look at Drake, man. You see Drake talking about a lot of this stuff? He does the bare minimum of talking about any of this because he knows he has to address it in some form or fashion. But you think Drake's going to come out with a song against police brutality? No. Do you know why he wouldn't come out with a song about police brutality? Because it's going to hurt his wallets. It's going to hurt the bank account probably, man. Drake's too big to address that type of shit. Now, he could address it, but it might not be in his marketing, in his repertoire to do that. A guy like Jay-Z, like as big as he is, he can do that. J. Cole, he can do that. Kendrick, he can do that. Drake doesn't, though. And do I knock him for not wanting to speak more on politics? No, because that's if that's his prerogative, if that's how he feels more comfortable, then go ahead, man. Not everyone who's in rap or every black person in music has to speak up about politics. That's not how it goes, because not everyone is equipped to do it, man. It's not. Like, not everyone wants to step up to it, and that's fine. And because everybody's got different roles to play. Everybody's got different things they got to take care of. So I understand if you don't want to delve into that and accidentally say something stupid. Now half your fan base is gone. I understand. It's tricky. And I think Lil Baby's in that same situation. Lil Baby's the same guy who tries to avoid saying nigga in his songs so that way white people can sing along to everything and he doesn't feel weird about it. Lil Baby's that same guy. So Lil Baby's very aware that he wants to be as appealing to everyone as possible. And I understand that, man. I definitely understand that. And I mean, you can assume what side politically Lil Baby's on. And I mean, he has one song about it, the bigger picture. Bam, there you go. And I don't think, that was from the heart. It felt like a right move to do. And, it might have been a money grab. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I understand where Lil Baby's coming from. And I'm with his decision. I'm not mad at him for wanting to stay away from it. What, you scared, man? You don't want to talk about this? Like, you don't want to talk about all this going on? Like, you have such a big platform, man. Use that platform. Not everybody with a big platform is comfortable and willing to do it. But you can find somebody with just as big of a platform who's going to do it. I mean, look at Cardi B. She's out here, just keeping it real. Just saying it all the way out. And it's good to see a lot of artists who are willing to put that out there, because not everybody wants to. And I think a lot of us just have to understand that. It kind of goes back to, Dave Chappelle's skit. Like, you don't have to hear from everybody, in certain times, like with Ja Rule. Who gives a fuck what Ja Rule thinks in a time like this? Like it's true. Like, sometimes you don't need to hear from everybody with situations regarding social injustice or a big event. You just don't. For me, I talked about the debates because it was something I felt it was very important to talk about, man. And I think at the end of the day, man, it's just different morals, man. Everybody has locked themselves in a mindset that they feel is the most appealing to them. And others might see it as the wrong way to go about it. Others might see it as the right way to go about it, man. And I think, it's pretty tricky with a guy, like Lil Baby, because, he did such a good job with a song like The Bigger Picture. But, what if he can't do another one like that? What if that's really all he had? And like he said, he's keeping it real. Because just because it was such a big, successful song, it doesn't mean that he's got to just keep that train rolling, keep doing stuff like that, because that worked. It's like, well, I just only had one song about it. Like, that's it. And I think it's better for him to leave it in a way that feels the most comfortable for him. Because that way it's the most authentic Lil Baby. Because that way he's not doing this again, and now we're just getting some, The Bigger Picture Part 2, it's like, it just don't even sound as good. Those type, sequels, man, and all that type of stuff, sometimes it's best to leave things as one time. And I think Lil Baby's looking at this situation as that one-time thing. If he has to address it again, I feel like his heart will let him know. I mean, but politics is tricky, man. It's a tough thing to address. And before I end this episode, I just want to say I am no expert on politics. Everything I'm saying on this platform regarding politics is just what I've observed, researched, and seen. And that's that, y'all. That's episode 78 of the TempahZone podcast. I'm happy that you all tuned in for this Friday episode. We're going to try to do this more often. Try to come out with 2 episodes every week. One episode with a guest on Wednesday, the other episode with me on Friday. Just delivering news. Get that trend going, get that train rolling. But yeah, y'all, thank you for tuning into this one. Make sure you tune in next week for another one, all right? Peace.